Hello and welcome to Super Immunity with Elson Haas, MD. I'm Angela Murphy, and I'm so glad you were able to join us today. As many of you know, Dr. Haas is a practicing physician specializing in integrative medicine. He's the author of 11 books, including Ultimate Immunity. And we are very pleased today to have his co-author, Sandra Barrett, PhD, who is a cellular biologist and biochemist, to join us. So welcome, Dr. Haas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Super Immunity, which really means functioning healthfully your immune system, and we're going to talk about that. I was watching Bill Maher last night, and I always kind of enjoy the dialogue there, and he was talking about immunity toward the end, and he said, well, I think it's the 3 S's: sugar, stress, and sleep. So we're going to talk about that. But another thing I want you to be aware of is there's so much fear and anxiety and panic. So, one of my messages is don't panic, be prepared. But then we're also watching everybody be over prepared and filling up the stores and buying everything they can, which is probably good. We all should be, as I've been writing for years about survival preparedness, we all should have some water and food and stock, both wherever we are. I carry it in my car, we have it at work. We have it, at home. So, we want to be somewhat more prepared. So these issues that we're dealing with now are about preparation, are about really what do we have to learn from that. So I want to connect with all of you. If you want to check in your chat, what from 1 to 10, how stressed are you about what's going on in the world right now with viruses and politics, everything. So, Angela, you want to guide them?
Yes, just click at the bottom of your screen. You'll see a chat button. Click that, and in the right-hand side, then you will see the chat. And just type in 1, meaning what, Dr. Haas, that you're not at all stressed, and 10, you're very stressed?
Yeah, we have 8 and 4, and all right, so we're all stressed to a certain level, and there's always things to do. So hopefully your wisdom is going to allow you to kind of stay calmer inside, and that's really what we want to address today: the inner state and our energy state. So I want to take a moment and introduce Dr. Sandra Barrett, my ally and friend of many decades, and she's just going to have us kind of calm down together. Sandra?
Thanks, Elson. This is a real treat in spite of the reason that got us all here. And what I want to do is simply give us a little way of connecting with our cells and our immune system and getting quiet, because the stress is all in our mind. We need to be able to get back in our bodies. So I'm inviting you for a moment to close your eyes and take a deep breath in and let go of any mind chatter, any expectations of what we're going to do today or what tomorrow is going to bring. And put your hand over your heart. And what we know from the ancient Taoist traditions, that one way to protect our health is to make a couple circles around our heart and our thymus. The thymus is the organ that regulates immune function. So we're feeling that we're warming our heart and our thymus, and then we're gently tapping that part of us. And then also part of this is something called the thymus hum, which turns out to have a lot of stress reducing practices. So what I'm going to invite you to do is take a deep breath in, and on the exhalation, hum, and make 3 long hums. And maybe later today, I'll be able to explain the physiology of that, but you can feel it in your body. So let's take a deep breath in. And hum with your mouth closed. One last one. And give a final tap on your thymus and your heart, and thank all your cells for taking such good care of yourselves. And then slowly open your eyes and let's see what Elson's going to bring to us today.
Thank you, Sandra. All right, well, I do want to talk about immunity because that's really important, and I think all of us need to understand it as well as we can, and what are the factors that affect our immune system functioning well. So we have some slides I want to share with you, and then we're going to have time for questions, and then I'll talk about the coming weeks and how we can really be supportive of one another and keep our immune system healthy, and just really have, you know, the alliance that we all need right now, because it's very stressful in the world, especially if we're on our own. So I'm waiting for our slide. Look at Sandra. If you see Sandra, look at all her art. That's all her microscope photography behind her.
Yeah, wine can reduce our stress if it's not in excess.
Oh, yeah, I don't have much about alcohol in there, but
it's what can we do that shifts our mind is really where it comes down to. Okay, here
all
you
right,
go.
so here we go. So super immunity is healthy immunity, and how we particularly prepare against viruses, but we're also going to bring this in the springtime because that's what we're talking about, and you know, moving into some kind of nutritional support and detox. So what is healthy immunity? So our immune system is our defense system. It really keeps us in balance, and you know, it's almost many levels. And if you looked at Ultimate Immunity book, you'll see we really make it simple, even though it's a very complex, multifaceted system, but it's cellular, biochemical, hormonal. And in the book, we talk about hyperreaction to, you know, hyperimmune reactions and low immune reactions. And that's very much like those of you who've heard me before talk about the imbalance of cellular health from deficiency of nutrients and toxicity. But our mind is also important, as is our brain and nervous system, to keeping us healthy. So as I said, it's a multifaceted complex. It has to do with our skin and membranes and our brain and the mucus in our systems and the lymphocytes and phagocytes, cells, all kinds of biochemicals. I won't get into all that now. And our antibodies are the way we respond and react to things, as well as we remember and protect ourselves from viruses, particularly over time, but also many other agents. So to me, the way we weaken our immunity, besides, you know, poor sleep and stress and sugar, is we're just deficient in all the nutrients. We need vitamins, minerals, amino acids, fatty acids, and phytonutrients, where all these healthy substances and mostly in plants, but in all foods really. And stress weakens our immunity. So that's where we want to try and calm down. And I hope more than anything that you can feel more comfortable in yourself and be a little less worried about this worldwide dilemma. And you know, so viruses, when our bodies weaken and when we're stressed and we don't sleep well, you know, the viruses can get through our several barriers and get into our cells, and that's where they take, you know, they kind of use our cellular chemistry and organs in the cell, organelles in the cell, and they can cause, and they divide and spread. So that's the way we get sick from viruses. And, you know, preparing for our health, as they said, let's not panic, let's be prepared. Worry and fear weakens us. Stress and immunity are at our core. And all of us should be taking some time to just be quiet and pray and envision, you know, the protection around our world, you know, our bodies too. And I want to get into that with a little exercise later, and really using your core energy to surround yourself in a healthy protection. So when we get sick easily, I've seen many patients over the years that, you know, they get sick, but I get whatever's going around. When they work on their lifestyle and they improve their diet and get their nutrients levels normalized, they don't get sick as easily. So, you know, as I say, when we're weak things can invade us more, when we are stressed out, when we don't sleep well, when we, we just don't defend ourselves as well against bacteria, fungus, parasites, and especially viruses. And these get into our system and they cause all kinds of problems. And as I said, viruses get into our cells and use that chemistry to reproduce and spread, and that's one of the ways that we get sick. So, you see, even with the current virus concern, is that, it's the infirm people, it's the elders. And when you're already sick and you're weak, you're more vulnerable to getting sicker from that and even dying. So the younger and healthier we are, and the healthy bodies don't get sick very easily. I've been saying that for years. Energy protection. So we want to really call on our energy, our deeper energy, to surround us and really help flow. And, in traditional Chinese medicine, when our energy is flowing, our qi is flowing through our body, we are healthy. When our chakras are all spinning well, and we have all our systems lined up well, but so everybody's washing their hands and not touching their face, but we need to really cleanse our whole body. And so we should get water on us every day and just really kind of bring that to our awareness. So if we stay in our core and keep our energy strong, we have our best protection. And I do every morning when I wake up, I put my hand on my heart and on my belly. I'm breathing and I'm picturing kind of this light around me that protects me, that purifies anything that comes in for me. I've been working on bodies. I've been touching people for all my career, and I'm always, I'm channeling energy through me rather than absorbing them. And I'm also surrounding myself. When I get somebody working on me, I don't know where their energy's been or how they are. I also do that. I surround myself in gold light that kind of purifies anything that comes in from them. So that's kind of my approach, and it's a little different. You're not reading about that in the hundreds of emails about coronavirus and everything. We're not really talking about the internal power we have to project and get us going. So the more we stay clear of that. So Sandra and I in Ultimate Immunity talked about the way we get imbalance. We get overactive antibodies or chemicals to trees. So, a lot of people have allergies and autoimmunity. I'm not going to get into this too much right now, but if you're interested in that, or you have those issues, you could pick up a copy of Ultimate Immunity and really go through that. And also we have to watch, one of the ways we weaken our system is we're eating foods that we're reactive to, or we're taking in substances. So food reactions can be allergy-like or more subtle, and they can be delayed or they can be immediate. They can affect us physically, emotionally, and mentally. So we can all get reactions like that. And when we have more congestion and we have more mucus, we'll get into that with nutritional part, then we, that's where viruses and germs can live and kind of stay in our body. And then, when they see a vulnerable area, they can get in. I mean, that's, one way of looking at it. I'm giving you some images here. Emotionally, we can have mood reactions as well. So some tips on virus, on virus protection. We've all heard about washing our hands and not touching our face. You can touch your hair though, if you want. Okay, stay warm and get good sleep, limit stress, and watch your anxiety and fear. I mean, I've talked to so many patients in this last couple of weeks. It's just like the fear and anxiety is undermining them, and that makes us more vulnerable, I think. So we got to watch out for what people are telling us in the news. Doesn't mean you want to deny it all, but that's one of the ways that I stay happy is I just don't believe everything that I read, and I don't watch the news that much. So be prepared at home and watch your social activities. These are all the things that people are saying. And I do have 10 tips for healthy immunity that's posted on my websites, and we'll send that out in my upcoming newsletter too, coming out next week. But wipe down surfaces, alcohol, if you have alcohol, that's really can help with the viruses. A lot of the hand washing and the antibacterial soaps don't really kill viruses as easily. But just soap and water, and water, I mean, you're basically diluting things, and you're washing things away. So there are a lot of supplements that I've written about that people can take. That's just to support healthy immune function. You don't have to be deficient necessarily, but vitamins A and C and D and E zinc and selenium as key minerals, even iodine supporting your thyroid. Herbal-based remedies. If I start to feel anything kind of invading my respiratory tract, I'll do like I have an alcohol-based echinacea golden seal. I have oregano oil I put down on the bottom. Oregano oil, you can gargle with that. You can it's just the alcohol. You can even use a strong tequila or whiskey as a way and slosh it around your throat. It's a way to help disinfect. And you can gargle with salt water or use the neti pot. So these are, some basic things you can do. Most of this is in my healthy tips that's online now. So we want to keep our exercise up, and it can support our healthy immune system. We don't want to overdo it, and especially if we're starting to feel sick, we don't want to overdo it. Steams and saunas may be okay. It's a way of kind of keeping your body warm and strong. Nutrition keeps our tissues healthy. So lots of greens and veggies now. Limit your sugar and your high carb foods and your breads and baked goods and your cheeses and the heavier foods that people have. So I would encourage us to really eat more healthfully now, and that's what we're going to talk about in these coming weeks as part of our spring cleanse. And spring health we're really going to be looking at. We want to sleep well and stay in our rhythm, not staying up too late, getting our proper sleep. So again, I want us to stay positive, which means we're going to calm down. We're going to, be quiet. We're going to work on our stress, our worry, fear, and anxiety. If we start to feel those things, just kind of come back to your center. Come back to your humming, coming back to your core, taking a breath and just centering, kind of letting your shoulders relax, letting your jaw relax, and just coming into yourself. So there are challenges that we're all facing now, even if it's just in the business world, with, your income, even a lot of people will be concerned because, a lot of places won't be open, and, so we'll see how the government handles that. Stay present in your core self. Work with your energy and your mind. Make sure your mind is supportive of you, and you're supportive of your mind. As I mentioned earlier, visualize your body surrounded in light, and purify everything energetically that you're taking in, and including the news, including all your foods, and just pay attention. Listen to your body and feed it what it really feels it needs. And I mean, a lot of people are home now. A lot of work situations, school situations. So there's a tendency to live it up and eat everything in sight, and be a stress eater. And you want to try and get over that. And that's really what our spring cleansing and and spring health program will be like coming up. So we want some foods that are healthy greens, sprouting. I love doing sprouts, bean sprouts. Lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, foods that have vitality, have energy, have enzymes, have the phytonutrients in them. Olive oil is a primary fat. You can do some nuts and seeds. Oily fish, can be helpful and supportive. And a rich, salads and high fiber diet is good for keeping our elimination going, because when we get constipated, our body can back up a bit also. And so one of the programs, and we're going to create a post on the website about the Immune Power Diet, the IPEP diet. Sandra Barrett and I called it in Healthy Immunity and Ultimate Immunity book. And that's watching our allergens. It's getting away from the snacks, the sugar, nicotine, alcohol, caffeine, chemicals. It's focusing a lot on veggies and protein and foods that are less reactive. So if you're looking at how to figure out your food reactions, you can look at our false fat program or the book. You can look at detox diet to see how to get away from your snack habits, and just eat lots of veggies and fresh foods. So basically, we want to have a lot more natural plant-based foods and less packaged foods. So and that's what people are buying up in the stores, a lot of packaged foods and a lot of frozen foods. So there are immune supportive supplements we can use, and in Ultimate Immunity, there's a whole chapter on this diet and the full menu plan and all kinds of recipes there. And that really is one way we can keep our immune system strong. And, you know, so check it out. Go online and read about Health Ultimate Immunity, and see if that's a book that you can, you know, educate yourself about, you know, all aspects of immune health and a lot of other, you know, good health philosophy. So there, look at Apple. And I always used to say, change the, remember the apple of the day keeps the doctor away. Well, I still believe that an organic apple a day keeps the doctor bill away. So that's how we work that. So we're going to open up for questions, but I want Dr. Barrett to just talk a few minutes about stress and immunity and some tips there. And then let's kind of see what questions you have or what areas you want to talk about, and kind of include you in this. And then I'll talk about kind of a unique program we're designing for the next couple months, really for the next month or two, to really offer support and care for all of us, and, you know, keep our minds and hearts together.
Okay, so stress basically is a state of mind. It's not an event. It's what we're thinking about, what we're worrying about. And it's really important. One of the mantras I always say, your cells and your brain and mind do not know the difference between what's real and imagined. So if we're imagining the worst possible outcome with this virus invasion, then the body goes into a stress mode. So just think, if we're in this fear and threat, that turns on fight or flight. You've all heard fight or flight. Mm-hmm. Turns on that stress reaction. The fight or flight signals the body to use energy for immediate survival. What's immediate survival? Tense up the muscles, help us run away or freeze. Anything the body needs for long-term survival, like immune health, like reproduction, like GI functions, the energy is shuttled away from there. So the first thing to really remember is, how am I using my energy? Am I using my energy in imagined worry? What can I do to get out of that state? What can I do to, yeah, the virus is there, it's real. And I look at, well, I'm at the higher age group, so I'm at that group that's more at risk. What do I do to take care of myself so I'm not using up all the molecules of energy that the body needs? The body, when we're not in stress, it's relaxed and we can use all the energy and the molecules to replenish ourselves. So as many ways as you can think of and learn about what will reduce your stress. I did the humming earlier. There's lots of data that shows that 15 minutes of humming, simple exercise, and I've seen it in my students, reduces stress hormones, improves immune function, lowers pain levels. So that's a simple thing. Watching funny movies, that we have some inborn immune responses against viruses, even if we haven't had a vaccine or an infection. And one of the first things where the virus comes in is through our mouth. One of the first protections is something called salivary IgA. It's a protein in our spit, basically. And what lowers that protective protein is, you know what the answer is already, stress. What relieves it is stress management, laughter. One of the first studies was with college students, seeing that they were always getting infections, flu infections during finals. And the scientists at Harvard looked at what's going on, and they saw that the salivary IgA was low when they were in fear and stress. And how could they improve this so the kids would get less infections? Watch funny movies. They watched, I think the study was for an hour, but some of the research after that was 15 or 20 minutes. And if they watched war movies, or if we think about the news right now, if they watched that, their IgA went way down. So we have so many ways and data that tell us, let's lower our fear chat in our mind and find ways that bring us pleasure. Laughter is one, pleasure without guilt is another, and we can go on and on. So there's lots we can do. And there's a system that came out in psychoneuroimmunology called the hardiness factor. And the hardiness factor was those people who didn't get sick when everybody else did. And the hardiness factor was the 3 C's. The 3 C's was seeing a threat as a challenge, not a threat. So that's a different biochemistry. Feeling that you have a sense of control, having any kind of ways that you can manage your life with nutrition, with stress management, with calling up friends, sense of control. And the third is commitment to yourself, commitment to, you got to get the book done, commitment to something more than just today. So we've got a lot of great resources available to take care of ourselves.
Thank you, Sandra. So maybe if there's time at the end, you can do a couple more immune exercises. All right, so let's see if people have questions. Angela, you have some questions in already?
Yes, someone did type in a question. If you'd like to type your questions into the chat, or if you click the participant button, you'll see on the right-hand side, you'll see a little hand icon. You can raise your hand if you would like to share live. So the question that was typed in is this new virus just a really bad flu, or like SARS or Ebola?
The latter is supposedly like SARS. I mean, again, it's just all different scientists giving different points of view, but it seems to be different from the flu. It has different, kind of connectors that go to the respiratory tract more than the nose or the throat. There's so much we don't really know, and you could watch news all day, and I have probably at least 100. Every company, every airline company, everybody is putting out their concerns and their tips sometimes for how to protect it, and everybody's got there's conspiracy theories. Is the virus? Are we finally connecting our internet computer world with our bodies now, that the viruses don't know the difference between a computer and a body? I mean, there's conspiracy theories out like that. But the more we take in and the more we stress about it, but it is seem to have its own unique kind of pattern of disease that has to do with fever and sometimes headache and respiratory symptoms and coughing. So I have a family medicine clinic, and we have a sign on our front door that says, "Are you sick?" If you really have a respiratory issues, then call us up. Don't come in, because I have to kind of keep aware of the staff and all the other patients there. And that's a risky area. Going to a hospital emergency room, going to the urgent care. I mean, those are riskier activities because you're exposed. We're all hearing about, kind of social distancing. Those of you in the North Bay, we had our evacuations months ago, and we all learned to connect at different levels. And this is, to me, another level. I'm always looking at crisis and opportunity. So we're going to look back a few months from now and say, what do we learn from that? We don't know if this is going to pass, quickly. We don't know if it's going to linger for all the way, through the year. It's certainly affecting everyone. It doesn't really help to figure out whether it's like a flu or that. If you want to still stay strong in yourself and protect yourself.
Thanks for that question. We've had quite a few questions typed in now, and we also had one sent earlier that ties into one that was just typed. Should I increase vitamin C to protect against COVID-19? And then someone had typed in, what do you recommend as the best vitamin C powder supplement brand?
We don't know for sure whether vitamin C, we know vitamin C supports immunity, as does vitamin A and D, and zinc and selenium, as I showed on the slides. I don't really recommend specific brands. There's pure vitamin C. You can buy straight ascorbic acid. You can buy just straight tablets of 500 to 1,000 milligrams. I'm taking a couple, 2 or 3 times a day. I'm taking a little extra vitamin A, and I take vitamin D every day, and my trace minerals and my power packs, which have vitamin C in them. That's kind of what I'm doing. Some people can do oregano oil. I'll do, I do some squirts of echinacea golden seal occasionally. So, and I'm just trying to stay, strong and aware in my body so that I don't get sick. And I'm seeing, a lot of patients every every week. And, so, I have this new technique where I have a door to the outside and an outdoor area. And so I open my door part way and I have people breathe in and out outside. So they're not kind of, contaminating the room. If they were, most of them aren't really sick, but at least from a respiratory point of view. So, to me, that's where I would go. And, I definitely if you have a multi that has some zinc and selenium and C and A and D in it, it's probably a good time to take that now too.
And drink lots of warm fluids.
Right.
Fluids. Yep.
That's in, there's loads more tips in our Healthy Immune tips that are posted on both my website and Preventive Medical Center's website.
And we also posted the 10 tips inside the learning platform for this class.
Oh, good.
So we have another question from Juliana. It's important to keep us adults healthy, but what can we do in terms of supplements for kids?
You can use similar things in kids' dosages. Give them some C. They like chewable Cs. You can get emergency or other powders that have some Bs and some minerals in them. Just try and get them trying to get them to eat their veggies and their, nutrient-rich foods, lessen a little bit of the treats. I mean, everybody's home more a bit now. So, you want to make sure it's not all focused on, what treats can I have now? Remember 80 to 90% real food, 10 to 15% treats, which are anything with sugar, breads, baked goods, French fries, ketchup, etc.
All right, thanks. Tony asked, do you have tips to cut down EMFs in our environment for stress reduction?
I don't have kits for them. I think there are some things that people use. If you read a book called Earthing, it kind of goes into that. And so I'm not sure what's available now that people can use simply. There's things that you can put on your phone. There's things you can put on your computer that say they help balance out the EMFs. And that's another conspiracy theory is about 5G and people's vulnerability and all that. So let's don't get into that too much.
All right, Carol asked, is there a test we can give ourselves? If we have a microscope, can we view our own saliva?
You could view it. What you'll see, I'm not sure, and I don't think you can spot the viruses. And I'm not sure. Sandra and I had a discussion last night. What are we actually measuring in the coronavirus that's saying yes or no, and is it really accurate? And what level do people have? And we're looking at the viral activity or antigenic material, right, Sandra? We're looking at pieces.
We're looking at the genetic material. We're looking at the RNA. In the test, they're looking at the RNA, which is the genetic material. There's no way any of us could do that. In fact, I just was reading this morning that the test they sent, I don't know, was to California, were missing half of the reagents they needed to be able to detect
there's
this.
There's a lot of conflict and flack about why is the U.S., how can South Korea be testing 20,000 plus people a day, and we haven't even done that so far, in this country. So, and whether that's going to create more alarm. I mean, if we start testing every community and are there false positives, was that going to alarm people more and, isolate people more? It's just hard. It's just hard to say, what the truth is there.
Well, Paul asked, what do you think about some of the measures like closing schools to help stop the spread of the virus?
Well, some of it's, I think, a little bit panically, but it is protection. I mean, we could just say, I'm just waiting for everybody to say, everybody in California, stay home, or everybody in the country, stay home. It's just, it's crazy making. And, I think, kids are but apparently, at least from the reports, kids are the least likely to be really affected so much by it, but they could be exposed and then carry it home, and then households are, getting sick and all that. It's just there's more unanswered questions, and it's very, it's complex,
Well, it's, if people don't have symptoms and we're not being tested, That's, we know that. If we don't have symptoms, but we've been exposed to the virus, we can still be spreading that virus around. So there is some advantage for staying home.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that's why everybody's talking about social distancing and, all kind of groups. I mean, I've seen half a dozen things I was going to be a part of that are all canceled, a couple of conference here, conference there. And I normally go to the Natural Products Show. It's like 80,000 people in early March. That got canceled like two days before the show. They just saw so many people were choosing not to come, and it just fell apart. And, all the conferences, luckily for us that we're doing our work on Zoom, which I don't think we're going to pass anything back and forth to each other than some inspiration and knowledge.
Shelley asked, what are some of the treatments hospitals are providing to patients who have been diagnosed with COVID-19?
What are some of the treatment options? I think people are just being treated with basic, whatever their symptoms are. If they're really sick with the deep bronchitis, then they'll get antibiotics or an inhaler or things like that. So they're being treated.
Well, they use respirators are big because I think the virus lands most in the chest. That's where there's most difficulty. And they are using, I think, some of the antivirals that they used in AIDS. And in China, they used what's called the chloramphenicol. So there are some, and Plaquenil, there are some drugs that were effective in China that they recognize here. I mean, my daughter has an autoimmune disease, and so Plaquenil and chloramphenicol are the drugs she's given. So, even with that disease, she's protected because this is one of the drugs they would give patients.
And those drugs are used very infrequently here, and they're very strong and potential side effects. So we're cautious there. So yeah, we haven't really gotten that far here because we don't know who's got it, and there's not that many cases, at least in our area. So that's good, and we have less experience because of that.
All right, someone said, I use a public laundromat. Does washing clothes kill the virus?
I don't think it gets hot enough to kill the virus, and I don't think it's transmitted that easily that way. But I think you're in a public place. I mean, I'm still going to the gym and working out as long as it stays open, and I wear gloves when I'm working out, and we'll wipe things down a little bit. But most of the wipes that you're using in places like that aren't really going to do it. I think probably washing clothes in hot water and drying them is probably going to reduce it a lot and maybe kills it. No, I don't think anybody studied that.
Someone said, what do you think about going out to eat in a restaurant? Is it safe?
I think mostly it is, depending if you're in an area that there's not a lot of diagnosed cases, which is still kind of a limited statement. Then I would say you can, but most people, a lot of people that I know are just saying, no, we're not going out to eat, and that's, we want, I mean, the economy, this is going to affect the economy as much as anything, as well as, loss of people. But, we are all, people are being born and dying every year. And as, a lot of people are talking about, well, the flu kills a lot more people every year than, this does. And, well, we don't know yet, so we'll see. So it's really, you make your own choice. I think, we're still going to stores, and we're still exposed to people everywhere. But people are not shaking hands as much, and we're shifting all. Our whole world is being shifted a little bit. I had people started bumping elbows. I said, but you're coughing into your elbow, so you don't want to do that. And I just got to do high or bowing. Is kind of a nice way.
All right, someone has a question back to respiratory support. She said, are you familiar with UMCA, UMCKA, or UMCA Lobo? I have used the former, but recently bought the latter in case I should need respiratory support. Also, I'm planning to make homemade elderberry syrup. Do you have any thoughts on using these remedies?
Elderberry is a good one. I didn't mention in the supplements. That seems to help, fight off infection and help people with respiratory issues. I've heard about is it UMCA? Yeah, I've heard about it. I don't have much experience with it, but it may have some benefits. I can't say.
All right, someone said I have a HEPA filter, HEPA filter with
HEPA
UV light that is supposed to kill germs. Any thoughts on the effectiveness of this?
Uh, don't know if it'll, I mean, it definitely keeps your air cleaner. It gets rid of allergens and, you know, and some germs. It may help reduce it if you have it in your, you know, in your bedroom, but you know, if you're going to be exposed, you're going to be exposed more directly, just not you know, not walking around in the air. It's going to be, you know, you getting virus on you and touching your mouth, and then it goes in there. I think that's most true. You agree, Sandra?
Yeah, I think it cleans the air. It definitely clean the air. But you know, the way they think this virus is transmitted is through droplets, and the droplets land on wherever, and that there's so many different ideas on how long does a virus stay alive if it's on my keyboard, if it's on my chair. So being able to, if it's in your, someone has sneezed in your environment that's got the virus, then you've got some.
I've seen the virus stays alive on surfaces from 2 minutes to 9 hours.
Yeah.
So that's the range.
Yeah, and weeks. I've seen up to week,
Oh,
a couple
okay.
weeks.
I haven't seen that. Okay.
All right, we still have quite a few questions. Kaya said, someone told me that they found some of the more severe cases in Italy had been taking ibuprofen and Buscopan prior to getting sick. Have you heard of that?
I did not hear that, and it sounds interesting because that may, I'm not sure what mechanism that would do. I don't think ibuprofen, I guess, could weaken the immunity a little bit. Not sure. I'm not sure if that's the case, but you know, the cleaner we are, I think you know, the healthier our bodies are. I mean, people who are taking ibuprofen, maybe they're taking it after they were sick with the fever, hard to say, but people who are taking medicines like that usually have some inflammation and some weakness in their system already, and they're taking it to control pain or inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
And it does lower the fever. So one of the body's protections in the early stage of an infection is increasing a fever because viruses are temperature sensitive. So if they turn that off, they may get sicker. They're also an older population in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
So back to the vitamin C question. There's a couple of different ones, so I'll combine them. Somebody was asking about the tests in China doing intravenous vitamin C as a way to heal this. And then someone said, is intravenous vitamin C a way to remedy a long-standing neuralgia from shingles?
It may have something. I have used on and off. I don't really have it in my office anymore, but I have people who like to do IV vitamin C, and that you're talking 10 grams up to 100 grams. So it's a high dose. It's been used for people with chronic viruses, you know, at least from the alternative medicine world. There's not a lot of studies that I know about that show proof or not. But it's certainly doing IV vitamins, including Bs and some minerals. You know, there's whole clinics down in you know, in other places, but particularly in Hollywood, it was really popular to go get what's called the Myers cocktail, MYERS, and it's got a whole set of vitamins and minerals and that, and you know, that's just kind of a boost. That kind of gets your energy going. And you know, a lot of people use ozone. Also, there's people who do ozone therapy as a way to kind of kill germs and viruses in your body. So vitamin C is interesting. It should be studied more in terms of really what its benefits are, because when you get those high levels, because you can take all the vitamin C you want and you only absorb a certain amount. When you do it intravenously, you're getting much higher tissue levels of ascorbic acid, and that may have some other benefits that, you know, again, we haven't known about.
All right, Elizabeth asks, is swimming at the YMCA safe?
I'm probably going to swim today. I think so. I think so. And you know, if somebody's sick and you're in a sauna with somebody, are you more? You know, could you pick it up more easily there? Yes. Steam room, probably less so. But you know, I don't think you get it out of the pool. So I mean, I guess if somebody had it and you know, you had the same water go in your nose or mouth, but it's pretty far-fetched. I would say you can swim.
And there's a lot of chlorine in a pool, so wouldn't that kill the virus anyway?
I don't know if it's strong. It's a high enough percentage or concentration of chlorine, but it's theoretically kills a lot of the germs in there.
Okay. And Vivian asked, what about hugging? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's great if you're not, if neither of you has any infection, but that's what people are talking about, social distancing. I've hugged a few people like at the office, and say, are you hugging? It's just, oh yeah, I forgot. Are we not hugging? But again, if you're in a regular, that's why if everybody were tested and we know who's okay and who's not, but that's not really possible.
All right. Someone asked, any thoughts on, will this diminish as winter recedes and as we move into summer?
Theoretically, yes. Theoretically and hopefully, yes. So let's all envision that together, that this is a passing issue. And those of you who read stuff, some people published, Sylvia Browne is a well-known psychic, and she predicted back in her book, it's like 2013 or 10. No, she died in 2013. In her 2010 book, she said, 2020 is going to be the year of the virus. It's going to affect the respiratory tract. It's going to be a worldwide issue, and it's going to go. It's going to come and go, and then it's going to return again and then go again. So who knows?
Who said that?
Sylvia Browne.
Yeah.
So she's a well-known, psychic from, years ago.
Okay, a couple more questions.
A couple more questions, then I want to kind of close it up.
The last one will lead into what you want to go into, but this one is, Deborah asked, have you heard that Gilead's antiviral is working to fight coronavirus? And then she has a quote and a link. Do you know?
Oh, no, I don't know about it.
Okay, you might want to look in the chat then and see her link, and we could follow up with that later. Someone said, the flu, then pneumonia nearly killed me 5 to 6 months ago, so I feel very vulnerable and worried. You found it was related to allergies. Please comment.
It can be. I mean, allergy can weaken it and create more congestion in your system, which allows, I've been a believer, kind of a more natural medicine approach, is when you are congested and allergic and you have a lot more mucus, that's where the germs kind of go live and hang out until they can find, a deeper place or take advantage of you, and and that's true for intestinal things like parasites. So yeah, we want to kind of keep our allergies down, and we want to, protect ourselves. That's what we're really talking about. So.
Okay. Vivian said, I heard liposomal vitamin C is more readily absorbed by the system than regular C. Can you comment on that?
And maybe, I don't know of any studies that show how much more, but vitamin C is readily absorbed, as is B vitamins. Some of the minerals are harder to get in, but it's, a lot more expensive, vitamin C, but some people like it. I mean, people really need vitamin C.
All right. And somebody said, a normal temperature is 98.6. What if your temperature is lower? And I'll respond to that. Mine is always 96.8 when I'm healthy.
Because you have dyslexic temperature. I get it. Okay. No, so and everybody's got a little different temperature. Some people run 97.4, some people run 90, and nobody runs much over 99 though. So if you're over 99, you got something going on typically in your body, and that's that's one of the things you've all seen. News or video where people going through the airport and everybody's checking. I don't know how it really works. It's amazing. I do it. Every patient gets their temperature checked in my office. In 1 second, a little light on your forehead tells you that. So yeah. So if your temperature's up, you probably should lay low.
But she was asking, what if your temperature's lower? That's okay?
Yeah, that's typical.
All right. And one more question here is, she's multiple questions in one. Carol said she's been using colloidal silver as well as liquid vitamins and is staying healthy. She said, will we be able to get prescription medicines? And then she asked, will the spring cleanse help us, the one that's starting next week?
Yes, good. Okay. Colloidal silver has been very controversial because somebody came out with an infomercial about how everybody gets this. It'll protect you from from coronavirus, and they got shut down and hassled. So colloidal silver is a naturopathic remedy that seems to help fight some infection. but there is some research on that, and I've written about it, but whether it works on this, we don't really know. And talking about spring cleanse, so here's my thoughts, people. We're going to start a group starting next Saturday. We'll call it, we have a new name for it. It's called Immune Protection and Spring Health, right? Is that it? So I want to propose to anyone who wants to join. Yes, we're still going to charge, and I'll go over that for it. And some people will feel comfortable starting a cleanse, but I'm probably going to delay the cleansing component or the focus on that into an improved, healthy immune diet, detox program, and I probably we're likely going to carry it on longer than the 3 classes and allow people to join at any time, because I really want to provide support for all of us to stay connected and to support our immunity and to keep ourselves healthy. And we don't know what's going to transpire in the next period of time. We'll create an email list or a Facebook Live so we can all share our thoughts and experiences. So we're going to basically start at this time next Saturday and for the 3 weeks, and probably for several weeks after that. And I'll keep pushing, because once we know what's happening in the world and what's happening where we are, we'll know whether kind of the cleansing part of it is right and ready. My concern, I think that when we do detox and kind of get away from our sugars and substances, is a safe way to strengthen the body. A cleanse is a little bit more extreme. It's a little bit more intense, and I don't want people to all of a sudden start getting a cold or putting out more mucus and things like that. So I really want to kind of look at it, and you'll be, all of you will be informed about what that is. But I encourage us all to kind of to sign up and do that. The normal price for the 3 weeks, and it's going to be longer, as I said, is $129. Anybody on today is $99. If you've taken classes before and paid for any of the classes, it's $79. Sorry, you get a deal. We're also going to have, I don't want to turn people away who need the support. And if you can't afford it, you're going to email us, and it would be anywhere from $49 even down to $0. So those of you who can afford to even pay their normal $129 rate, and that allow us, because we're all, everybody, Thinkific and Angela and everybody, as part of this, everybody needs to make a living. So I that's kind of where we're at with it, and I think that's a good idea. That's kind of what I've tuned into in my listening, is that we shouldn't push it. But if some of you are ready and you feel good starting spring cleansing, we'll go over that next week also. Okay, so I hope you'll join us all. And what else?
Can you say just very concisely, so I can put it on the landing page there, why people would want to take immune protection and spring health?
Well, immune protection and spring health is a series of classes that will support you in your healthy immunity. And it will support you in cleaning up your diet, getting ready for spring, doing some cleansing as it is appropriate, following a detox program, and really just enhancing your health by a healthy lifestyle. And we'll talk everything about sleep and exercise and all those aspects. And it really is a support program for all of us going through the stress that's going on in the world. And we don't really know the answers, what's going to happen next week or the week after, or whether we're going to have to stay home. So we, being available online, as your kind of immune protection and spring health group is really what we want to achieve. And as I said, we'll keep going as long as it's needed. And if you buy into the program, you won't have to pay anything more, even though we'll maybe continue for 6 weeks or so. Okay, so that's what I would say. I think it's really important that we have a sensible connection and there. So I want to take 1 minute as we finish here, and I want you to all take a deep breath and close your eyes and come into your core. Right below your belly button is kind of your center of your body. And we talked about bringing that up and just really breathing deeply in there and feeling that energy as you breathe. And you have also the energy of your chakra system and your meridians. But we're going to create this vibration that goes out, 6 inches from our body, that has the color that you want. I would say white light or gold or silver. And that is your, it's kind of like the moat around your castle. It's the protection, the aura of protection that you have that will, keep you strong. And you need to keep your body strong inside of you. You need to nourish it well to keep that energy protection there. But I want you all to really consider doing that morning and evening, and just really strengthening your internal core and surrounding yourself in good energy so that you're able to protect your health. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Sandra, any last comment?
Yeah, what came to mind when you were talking about the core energy, the Taoists who gave us Tai Chi and Qigong would call that Wei Qi, so that you're creating this circle, if you will. You've got the boundary between you and everybody else.
Right.
And whether you believe in energy or not, it's certainly a way to feel that you've got a way to manage your fear. It's like, okay, I'm surrounding myself.
Yeah, and doing some Qigong exercises. You can look online. Sandra, in the 10 tips, we have your exercises and a few Qigong exercises. So why don't you do one more little thymus or neck and shoulder. Do your neck and shoulder.
Well, there's a link, I think, I don't know if you have it in your newsletter or the tips, the Qigong exercises, but there's also, in our book, we have the self-massage, which my Qigong master said, the Taoist said, these are the best for preventing virus infections. So one, rub your hands, warm your hands, and put one hand on your neck and the other on top of that. And then just like you're rubbing a towel, you're warming up. So the Taoists felt that these are the vulnerable places, your neck and your shoulders.
Right.
So we're warming up. And then the other one is an easy one. Put one hand over your shoulder and you'll find a tender muscle. Maybe you won't feel it, but then swing it down to your opposite hips and shake out your hands. So do that 3 times. And it's like, okay.
So those exercises, you got to have your shoulders pretty together. And also the governing vessel point, which is kind of right at the base of your neck, that vertebrae that sticks out on top, is called the center for physical energy. So that's really an important area. So working in that. But yeah, check out our 10 tips and Sandra's link. And I hope I'll see you all next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elson.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks for joining us.
Stay
Bye-bye.
healthy.